Let's talk about Terraform Workspaces. Terraform Workspaces is one of the key ways through which you can logically separate your resources across environments. Assuming you want to manage resources across multiple environments, let me say the prod, the stage, and the testing environment, or you want to manage the deployment of resources across regions. Maybe you want to have resources in particular region, US East 1 or US West 2, or you want to provision resources across accounts. So you want to provision resources across accounts in a given region. You can manage these accounts using Terraform Workspaces. Or equally, you want to set up a blue-green deployment. You can do that using Terraform Workspaces. So Terraform Workspaces gives you the possibility to logically separate environments. To logically separate environments. Now, assuming you want to perform a blue-green deployment for your infrastructure, you might actually have a Terraform workspace to manage the deployment of these resources. For example, with a blue-green, we can have your main Terraform project, your Terraform project, and now in this Terraform project, you can have your main.terraform file, your main.terraform that contains all your configuration file, and then you can have your variable.terraform that contains your variable files. Now, as far as the infrastructure provisioning is concerned, you can have a workspace for the blue environment that provisions resources for the blue environment. So in the case, it's almost like you having a main.terraform for the blue environment. You can equally have a workspace for the green environment that has the possibility for provisioning resources in a different workspace. So with Terraform workspaces, you can logically separate your environment. As far as Terraform workspace is concerned, let's look at key Terraform workspace commands. Now, the first thing we should understand as far as Terraform workspace command is, we have first to list available workspace. So for you to list available workspace, we have Terraform workspace list. This will list available workspaces in your environment. To create a workspace, we use the command Terraform workspace new, and then you give the workspace name. Here we have workspace name. To select a particular workspace where you want to create your resources, or maybe where you want to switch your resources, we do that using select workspace. And for you to select a workspace, you basically do the Terraform workspace select, and then you give the workspace name. Here we have the workspace name. So this will actually switch you between workspaces. And then equally, to show the workspace in which you are currently found, we can do that using Terraform workspace show. So this will show the workspace in which you are currently found. And to delete a workspace, we can do that using the Terraform workspace delete, and then we give the workspace name. So let's go ahead to see how we can provision these workspaces, how we can create these workspaces and then manage them. To begin, let's create a new folder for workspaces. So this is folder 9, Terraform workspaces. And now let's understand the various workspace commands. So for us to see existing workspace, we do the Terraform workspace show, and it will show us the existing workspaces we have in our environment. So now we have the default workspace. Now for us to create a new space, maybe for the blue environment or for the green environment, we do that using Terraform workspace new, and then you give the workspace name. In this case, we want to create a workspace for our blue environment. So once you do that, you create a new workspace. You see, created and switched to workspace blue environment. You are now on a new empty workspace. Workspaces isolate their state. So if you run Terraform plan, Terraform will not see any existing state for this configuration. So with workspaces, you actually have separate state files for separate resource provisioning. Now let's run Terraform workspace list to still see available workspaces. So we can do Terraform workspace list to see existing workspaces that we have. So we now see we have the default workspace, and then we have the blue environment workspace. We can still create another workspace for the green. So we do Terraform workspace new, then green, and this will create a workspace for the green environment. So if you do Terraform workspace list, it will list all environments that you have, or all workspaces that you have. Now we have the default, the blue environment, and the green environment. To switch between workspaces, you can switch using Terraform workspace select, and then you give the Terraform workspace name. So as we want to come to the blue environment, we do Terraform workspace select, and then we do blue, and that will take us to the blue environment workspace. So you see, switch to workspace blue environment. We can switch back to our default. So we can do that using Terraform workspace select, and then we do default, and this will take us back to our default workspace. Now if you want to delete a particular workspace, take for example we want to delete the green workspace, we do that using Terraform workspace delete, and then you give the name of the workspace which you want to delete, which is the green. So you do Terraform workspace delete green. Now this is going to delete the green workspace. So you see you see deleted workspace green. So if you do Terraform workspace list, is going to give you all the available workspaces. And if you are doubting a Terraform workspace command to run, you can basically use a Terraform workspace help, and it will give you all the available commands that you can run as far as Terraform workspace is concerned. So this basically is, we have the new, we have the list, we have show, we have select, and then we have delete workspaces. So let's go back, let's create back our blue environment workspace. Let's start by seeing the existing workspaces. So do Terraform workspace list. It shows default. So let's create a workspace now for the green environment. So you do Terraform workspace new, then we have green environment, and this will create a workspace for the green environment. Now to understand how Terraform workspaces work, let's provision a let's provision an EC2 instance and understand how to manage this EC2 instance across different environments. So let's create EC2 configuration files to understand how Terraform workspaces work. So we come to Terraform here, we create a new file, main.terraform, we create a provider.terraform. Now we come here, let's copy our provider.terraform configuration. So we just copy this from our previous folder, and then we paste in our provider.terraform, and in our main.terraform we are going to, let's also create a variable.terraform file. So we also create a variable.terraform. Now let's provision an EC2 instance using the Terraform workspaces. So for us to do that, let's come back to our previous file for modules. We go to EC2, we copy the main.terraform, and then we come to our workspaces main.terraform and we paste. We come to the variables.terraform, and then we copy all the content for the variable.terraform, and then you paste it in the variable.terraform for the workspaces folder. Now, as you have the variable file, we uncomment all this which we commented in our previous module. So we comment this. So we uncomment all of these. Come to your main.terraform. Now we are going to tag our EC2 instance making use of our Terraform workspace. So you understand how Terraform workspaces work. So for us to tag this EC2 instance using Terraform workspace, we are going to change the name. And now for this name, we are going to use a function format. Format function basically helps us to concatenate or to join two strings. So we're going to use a format function, and then we give it, we say we want to map two strings. So we have this for the mapping of the strings, and then we now specify the strings that we want to map. So we want to map the var dot instance name, and we want to map it with a Terraform workspace in which we are. So once you do this, it's going to tag the instance with the instance name and then the workspace that we have. So we can come to variable here just to be sure we have an instance name. So we have prod instance, and then it's going to now tag the instance with wanda prod instance. So let's modify this to adequately understand the tag. So we can modify this with wanda. We delete this. We have wanda instance. We have wanda instance, and then it's going to add the prod. So once you allow this, you come back to your main Terraform, it's going to reference wanda prod instance, and then you specify the workspace. So to understand how this works, let's go ahead to do Terraform init, Terraform plan, and then Terraform apply. So let's do Terraform init. We're in the wrong directory. Let's cd into the Terraform directory, and then we cd into 9, and then we do Terraform init. Once Terraform init is complete, let's create a workspace for the green environment, and then we provision the instance in the green environment. And equally, we are going to do the same for the blue environment just to understand how workspaces work. So let's do Terraform workspace new and then green to create a workspace called green. And you see we have created and switched to the workspace green. So let's do plan to create this resource in the green environment. So we do Terraform plan just to be sure that the resources are available. And then after that, let's go ahead to do Terraform apply to create the resources. So you have Terraform apply. After running Terraform apply, we take yes. Terraform is going to provision this EC2 instance in the green workspace, and we can verify that by going to our AWS console. So we come to our AWS console here, and then we can refresh just to see instances that have been created. And you now see we have an instance wanda green. Remember, in our tags we gave the instance a tag var instance name, and then we specified the workspace. Now let's modify this to create a new instance in another workspace with a different tag. So this has completed. We have apply complete resources, one added, zero change, and stuff. So let's come to our variable here. We modify just the variable name. So we add wanda instance, and then we are going to add now, once we are going to create now a new workspace and use the same configuration file to deploy in the green environment. So let's create a new workspace, Terraform workspace. Now we are creating a new workspace for the blue environment. So new blue. Once you do that, we have created and switched to the blue workspace. If you do, just to confirm that we have different workspaces, if you do Terraform workspace show or workspace list, you'll see we have the default workspace, the blue workspace, and the green workspace. We just created the green workspace. So let's provision these resources in the green workspace. So for us to do that, let's do Terraform apply, Terraform apply, and you'll see that we are still going to provision this same set of resources in another workspace, because ideally if you do Terraform apply with already existing configuration file, Terraform without noticing any changes in infrastructure will not provision those resources. But because we have created a new space, you see that there's a possibility for us to add one resource, and now this resource will be created in another workspace but in the same account. So you could logically separate resources within environments, you could logically separate resources within accounts, you could logically separate resources within regions. So Terraform Workspaces gives you that possibility. But for this basic example, we are just using Terraform Workspaces just to specify regions with different tags. Now you see we have a new resource, apply complete, and we've been able to add a new EC2 instance in our environment. So if you refresh this, you now see we have a new instance, Wanda instance blue. This is in the blue environment, the one above is in the green environment. And take note, all of these instances were created with the same configuration file. Let's go ahead to make this more interesting. Let's create an S3 bucket, and then we also use Terraform Workspaces to create the bucket in two different environments. So let's close this terminal. Let's create a resource for S3 bucket. So we do resource. The resource name we are using AWS underscore S3 bucket. We select S3 bucket, and then we give the name of the bucket Wanda affiliate resources. Like we want to create affiliate resources for this particular project. Now we give the bucket name. Remember, bucket names are unique, so we are going to give a unique bucket name. So we have Wanda affiliate resources. We can now use the Terraform workspaces to logically separate resources that will be created between the different workspaces or between the different environments. So let's go ahead to do that using our tag. So we do the dollar sign. This is just basically telling Terraform that you should make use of the current workspace. So you have Terraform workspace. So making use of this Terraform workspace in tagging this bucket. Now, once we do that, we also do the same thing for tags. We tag our S3 bucket using our workspace. So to tag it, we take the name and then we use the format function, like I mentioned, just for combination or kind of concatenation between two strings, and then we specify kind of like a separation between the strings using these symbols. So we do dollar this to specify that we want to actually use two different symbols, and then we go ahead now to reference the two strings that we want to use. The two strings we want to use is the bucket name. We are going to create a variable for the bucket name, for the bucket underscore name, and then we also reference Terraform workspace. So we have to come to our variables file, and then we create this variable bucket name. And this variable is just going to make use of the Wanda affiliate resources, and then we append the workspace to the variable. So let's create a variable Wanda affiliate resources. So I'll just copy this. I come to my variables file. I create a new variable. I give it the name Wanda affiliate resources string, and then the description. This is the bucket name. Once you do this, we are going to use the same configuration file to create an S3 bucket in our green environment and create the same S3 bucket in our blue environment, making use of Terraform workspaces. So we go to our terminal, and for us to know the existing or the current workspace in which we are, we do Terraform workspace show to know the workspace in which we are. We are currently in the default workspace. Now we have to cd into the right folder, which is folder 9. So for us to cd into that folder, we do cd, then now we specify the folder. We can now confirm the workspace in which we are. So we do Terraform workspace show. and it will tell us we are currently in the blue workspace. Again, if you want to know all the workspaces, we have Terraform workspace list. So we have the blue, which we are currently in, we have the green and the default. So let's go ahead now to add an S3 bucket. Remember, we just added this S3 bucket to our existing configuration. So let's provision this S3 bucket in the different environments. Now, in production environments, you might decide that, okay, we want this S3 bucket only in the blue environment. We will provision it only in that blue environment. You might say there's no need for the S3 bucket to be in the green environment. So that is how we can make use of Terraform workspaces to logically manage resources across your environments. Let's go ahead to provision this resource in our blue environment. So to do that, we just do Terraform apply. And after running Terraform apply, you now see workspace var Wanda affiliate bucket. This is the name of the bucket. So let's specify. Oh, we do not give the bucket a variable name. So we come back to our bucket and we give it a default value. So the default value should be the same name here. We give it a default value. Default, we give it the value the same name there. So now we can see specify this here, and then Terraform. Okay, we've already modified it, so there's no need inputting it. Let's clear the screen, and then we do Terraform apply now. If you look at line 16 in our main.terraform, we have made reference to a bucket name which is not available. That's why we have this error var.bucket name. So for us to modify that, we come back to our variables file and we give this variable the name of the bucket. So we give this variable bucket name for easy references. So this variable will give us the default value one the affiliate resources when we make a call to that variable. So for us to actually go ahead to provision, let's clear, and then we do Terraform apply. Once you do Terraform apply, you see AWS Wanda prod instance refreshing the state. It's actually getting the current state of our environment, or the current state of the current environment in which you are. Once it gets the state, we now have to proceed with yes. And when you take yes, we see AWS S3 bucket Wanda affiliate resources creating. Let's go back to our EC2 console to confirm the creation of this bucket. So once you're in your AWS environment, you can come to S3, you type S3, you open S3 in a new tab, then we go to the tab. So you now see we have created one resource, the Wanda affiliate resources blue, for the blue environment. Once you come to S3, you can now search for the bucket Wanda, and you now see we have the new bucket that has been created, Wanda affiliate resources blue, to specify that this resource or this bucket has been created in a blue environment. Let's go back to our Terraform and then we create a similar bucket but in the green environment. So we come back here, we switch to the green environment. So we do Terraform workspace select green, and then if you look at the bucket in our blue environment, the tag actually was not well tagged. So let's fix that in our green environment. So you come to the green environment. For us to fix that, we just add a struct to our variable, and then we go ahead to do Terraform apply in the green workspace. So we do Terraform apply, and you see AWS Wanda prod instance refreshing state. Now this is in the green environment. Remember, in the green environment we had just the EC2 instance. Now it is actually refreshing the state file for the blue environment. It is actually refreshing the state file for the green environment to be sure. So you see plan 1 to add, 1 to change, and 0 to destroy. So we take yes. So once you do that, we now see completed. We have Wanda affiliate resources green for the resources created in the green environment. So you can come back to our AWS console. Once you refresh, you now see we have a new Wanda bucket, Wanda affiliate resources green for the green environment, and Wanda affiliate resources blue for the blue environment. The same way we created resources across environments, we can go ahead to delete them. So for us to delete, let's clear, and then we do Terraform destroy. So we take yes. Now once complete, you see destroy resources, then two destroyed. So if you go to the console, you'll see we'll have two resources destroyed, but these resources have been destroyed in the green environment. If you come here, we refresh, you will see one of the buckets have been deleted. But we did Terraform destroy. Normally, if they were in the same environment, both of them would have been deleted. But here we have just one of the buckets have been deleted from the green environment. Same thing if you come to the EC2 console and you refresh the instances running, you will see that the instances in the green environment has also been terminated, while that in the blue environment is still active. So let's go ahead to delete the instances and the bucket in the blue environment by switching to the blue workspace. So to switch to the blue workspace, we do Terraform. Well, let's clear first. So let's clear. We do Terraform workspace, select blue, and we are now switched to the blue workspace. So we can do Terraform destroy in the blue workspace for us to also delete the resources that were created in the blue workspace. So it is picking up the state file. And if you take yes, Terraform will go ahead to delete those resources in the blue environment. So you see AWS destroying the bucket and then destroying the instance. If you come back to the console and you refresh, now you find that we are not going to have any bucket with the name Wanda. You see we deleted the buckets both in the green and in the blue environment. So you see we have no bucket matching the name Wanda in our environment because we have deleted those buckets from all our both workspaces. The same thing if you come to instances and you do a refresh, you also find that the Wanda instance in the green environment and the Wanda instance in the blue environment have both been deleted. So you see we have destroy complete resources to destroyed. So for us to wrap up this video on workspaces, let's go ahead to delete the workspaces. So we'll start by deleting the green workspace and then we delete the blue workspace. So we do Terraform workspace delete and then we start with the green. So it's going to delete the green workspace. So deleted workspace green. Now let's see if you can delete the workspace in which you are currently located. So we do Terraform workspace delete blue. You see we cannot delete a workspace in which you are currently active in. So you see you cannot delete the current or a workspace that you're currently active in. So for you to delete the workspace that you're currently active in, you need to first switch. So let's do Terraform workspace. Let's select the default workspace. So we select the default workspace. We have switched to the default workspace. Now we'll be able to delete the blue workspace. So we do Terraform workspace delete and then we select the blue, and now we'll be able to delete the blue workspace. So successfully deleted the blue workspace. So that's how Terraform workspaces work, and you can use that to easily separate your resources between maybe different namespaces or different tags, different environments, different regions, different accounts on the AWS platform.